let's go ahead and give our predictions for 2022. Just like last week, I'm going to go ahead and start with you, bro. Let's hear your top 5 and a little bit of reasoning behind why you chose these 5 for 2022.
All right, yeah. Coming number 1, I got JT coming number 1 again. The dude's just a touchdown machine. He's running behind one of the better offensive lines in the league. I do believe Matt Ryan's actually going to even open things up to possibly let him have a better season. That's just crazy to think about because he had 20 total touchdowns last year, which is an astronomical amount of touchdowns. He had over 2,100 total yards. The better QB play, I really do think is going to open up things for him to have an even better season. There's no competition for him over there. They got rid of Marlon Mack in free agency. He's off in Houston now. So, it's the JT show over there. I think he's going to produce possibly even – it's a real strong possibility that he produces a better season this year than next. Then I'm going to go to Eckler. Early on, in Eckler's career, I wasn't a big fan, but last year, he proved me wrong. I really like Eckler. I like the offense they're in. They have a lot of good weapons to take the pressure off of him being like the stud and everyone, all the defenses putting their focus on containing him. For PPR, obviously you got to be able to catch passes. He catches passes. All these running backs here, they get targets and they catch passes. So Eckler also had 20 total touchdowns last year, just an astronomical amount of touchdowns from the running back position. I do want to take a step back, and JT, he played a full 17 games. Eckler, he played 16 games, so these guys are all relatively healthy. They don't miss a lot of time. On to Najee. I have Najee as my Mixon as my number 3. He actually played 16 games of a bounce back season because the year previously he actually missed 10 games due to injury. So he bounced back in a big way. He stayed healthy, played 16 out of a possible 17 games, and he delivered in the playoffs. He had 16 total touchdowns, and honestly, it was a career year for him. He had the most rushing attempts of his career. That translated into the most yards of his career. Then he had also the most touchdowns of his career. And I think that's a reflection of obviously having Joe Burrow healthy for a whole season, and moving the offense, just constantly moving the offense, getting in a position where he can score touchdowns. And that's going to be huge for him next year. 4th, I have Najee. For me, with Najee, it's not so much an efficiency thing because he wasn't actually very efficient if you think about it. He only scored 10 total touchdowns. He averaged less than 4 yards per carry last year behind a shaky offensive line. For me, it's all about volume. He got over 300 carries last year. He might get a little bit less this year, but when you look at their depth chart, I can't name their backup running back. I can't name their backup running back right now. I couldn't name their backup running back last year. So I think that he is still going to have a lot of carries. He also caught 74 passes last year from the running back position. Again, we're talking about PPR here. He also played 17 games, played a full season. So with the volume, he was able to remain healthy. Coach Tomlin and that staff did a really good job of making sure that he stayed healthy and stayed on the field. And then my final spot here, I was really toggling with this one because I didn't really realize it. I thought for some reason Zeke was just hurt because Pollard shined. It took some of that spotlight off of him. But Zeke actually did finish as the number 7 PPR running back last year. He wasn't very healthy throughout the year, but he didn't miss games as a result of it. So another back here on my list, he played a full 17 games. So health is a big part of why I have these guys all in my top 5 going into the year. And without Amari in the picture, I believe that Zeke does get a few more carries. Going into this year, he had 12 total touchdowns, 237 carries, and 47 receptions. So they're still going to use him to catch passes. He'll probably score more touchdowns this year. And Dallas's offensive line is known to be, pretty good. So those are my top 5 backs. And like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of this boils down to health for me. That's why these guys made my top 5.